Hello and welcome to this video, guys. My name is President. This is a World Tanks Tips video on the JPanther 2. I did a so far video just to sort of get a few thoughts out there, thinking about the tank without the final gun. But now, guys, I have the beast, the best gun on this tank, the tier 10, absolute monster that does some serious damage. So, a very, very good tank. Without the gun, without the tier 10 gun, it's a pretty decent tank. I struggled sometimes, getting a little bit fed up and not doing much damage and not being that effective in higher tier games, but then, guys, I got the tier 10 gun, which just makes a massive difference. I'm going to run through the stats in a sec, but if you have this tank, guys, you just know it's amazing. It's so good with this final gun, and there's so many plus sides to this tank. I don't feel like there's many negatives at all. So I'm going to run through the stats, and then we'll talk about these positive, negatives, and tips on how to play the tank in a game. So, guys, we got 1,150 hit points, an engine power of 870, a speed limit of 45 kilometers an hour, a traverse speed of 30, a hull armor of 160 and 40, no turret armor, a standard shell damage of 368 to 613, a standard shell penetration of 185 to 308, a rate of fire of 5.13, a turret traverse speed of 26, a view range of 380 meters, and a signal range of 710 meters. So, guys, hit points, yeah, whatever, they're just whatever they are. These stats are with the final upgrade, so bear that in mind for engine power, damage and all that. So, damage, absolutely crazy. Top end, 613 damage. That can finish, that could almost take out some tier 6s in one shot. Can two-shot tier 7s and 8s. So, guys, yeah, it is crazy damage on this gun. It is so much fun. So if you're lucky enough, like I did in this game, I had a few tier 6s and then a few tier 7s, you can just, if they're half health, you can finish them off easily, no problem. That is one of the best things about this. And I would say also, like, what makes this great, and it started with the Marder, I'd say it started with the Stug, the speed limit and traverse speed. There's a speed limit of 45 and a traverse speed of 30. It just makes the tank so agile, even though this tank is huge, and that's something I'm going to come on to a bit later, but it makes it so agile. You can get into those areas really quickly. You can dodge shots because your acceleration is very good, so if someone is coming at you and you need to actually get behind cover because you didn't realize how quick they were coming at you, then there you go, it's sorted. No slow 80-15 sort of pace. So, guys, very good on that respect. Next, the armor isn't dreadful. It's pretty good from the front, and it's sloped like crazy. There's a weak spot, a really obvious weak spot, and then obviously underplate. Like that's a weak spot in almost every tank. So be careful about that if you're getting like upfront and personal about it. But if you angle it slightly, it's obviously you know how to play the tank right now, guys. If you got the JPanther 2, you know how to play it. But I just want to give you some tips and sort of, if anyone hasn't got it and everyone's wondering whether it's worth going on this tree because they're at the Stug now, definitely. I've loved every tank leading up to this one. I've got to say, like, the first upgrade is a little bit of a pain. Like, I struggled sometimes in some games, especially when you're in higher tier games, but getting this final upgrade, it makes it so much more satisfying and it makes it so much better to use. So when you're playing in a tier 8 game, so you're top tier and there's tier 7s and tier 6s, you can play so much more aggressively, and I recommend you do that because you don't get to do it that often, and you don't get a lot of opportunities to be that OP tank to just do so much damage, and that's the best thing because you're doing so much damage, and a pretty decent rate, 5.13 rounds per minute is not bad. So yeah, I would play aggressively. It's so much fun, and you can use the tank to ram, and like I said, the armor is pretty good, especially if you're top tier. I do like to play quite aggressively in this tank anyway, even if I'm in a lower tier game, but I do suggest you don't do that because then you just become me and start raging like crazy. So yeah, take it a bit slower if you're in a higher tier game because the gun, even like if you've got the final gun, then obviously it makes it a lot easier. If you haven't, then I wouldn't go rushing in because you'll get really frustrated at the fact that you're not penetrating these tier 9s and 10 tanks. But find the weak spots. They're on every tank somewhere. You just got to look hard enough, and yeah, take it really slow and on higher tier games. Just let your medium tanks and heavy tanks find them, spot them, then you just deal out damage like crazy. Sit behind your medium tanks and your heavy tanks. It's the same sort of tips for every tank, guys. There's sometimes a few like tweaks and differences between them, but not greatly. They all play very similar. So, guys, if you have any tips, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'm sure they'll help me out because I need to get to that Yag Tiger, and I'm sure they'll help everyone else out. So, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.